welcome to another Throwback Thursday here with Pastor Brad. And if you're not familiar, our Throwback Thursdays are our opportunity to kind of look back on some things that we've been talking about, things that have been going on recently in our church family, because the things we talk about, the things we do, they're not just to pass the time, they're important. They're things that really do matter. And so we want to make sure that we're continuing to think through them, process through them, and integrate them into our lives. And this past Sunday, we started a new message series called Margin. And this was the idea of making room for what really matters, or making room for what matters most. What we did was we defined what that was. We defined this idea of margin with this idea, that margin is the space between my load, what I'm carrying, what I need to carry, and my limits, the total load that I could possibly carry. And we said that load is what we have control over. My limits are kind of where they're at. My load is what I can control. So what we did say then was that when margin itself decreases, when the space between what I'm carrying and the max that I could, when that gets narrower and narrower, anxiety increases in my life. That goes up. We also said that when that margin decreases, that isolation increases. Even if I'm with lots and lots of people, because of how thin that margin is, the actual quality of those relationships goes away, and I miss out on those most important relationships, and I actually begin to feel isolated. And we also said that when margin decreases, apathy increases. And apathy when it comes to the really important things of life. And what we said was that if margin is present, I can make room for what matters most, for what really matters. And if we're honest, we kind of take stock of what our lives are like, what we're doing, what we're carrying, all that's going on. I think most of us, again, if we're honest, would say that margin is pretty thin. I'm feeling like I'm just butting right up against those limits with the load that I'm carrying. So what did we say that if margin increases instead? If I am making margin in my life, if I'm broadening that to a healthy level, that I am going to make room for what matters most. And what happens? Well, I suggested that margin, again, that space between my load and my limits, would increase purpose in my life. We talked about lots of things that would increase, but we said that I would be able to live a life that is connected to the purpose God designed me for, because I'm not stretched thin in all other areas that might not be as important, might not matter the most. We also said that it increases my mission. It gives me focus for where I'm going, not just to have a purpose, which is good and necessary, and we do, but it really focuses it for what God designed me to be doing and using my purpose to advance that mission. And so for us at Grace Church, we say that our purpose, kind of our mission, is to help people live Jesus-centered lives. That's what we're all about. That's what we run all of our ideas, our thinking, our activities, our events, all of that goes through this grid, this filter of helping people live Jesus-centered lives, because we believe that Jesus is the center of it all, and that Jesus has made such a radical difference in our lives because of who he is and what he did and the life that he offers us, both here and now and for all eternity, that all of what we do needs to be centered around him. And we want to invite others in to that same journey so they can experience that same joy, that same peace, that same freedom that we have with Jesus. Well, one of the things that we do to help people live Jesus-centered lives is valuing kids and students. It's been the heartbeat of our church for 40 years to be reaching out to students and children all throughout the Effort area and beyond. And one of our hopes was this week to reopen our kids ministry Sunday mornings. About 2 weeks ago or so, we reopened for general kind of coming together. We said that we were targeting the 20th to have kids come back. But as we started moving towards it, we realized we didn't have the margin to make that happen well. And so here's the idea. Right now, our new target for opening up kids ministries is going to be on Sunday mornings and starting October 4th. Now, we still have to go through a bunch of stuff and make sure that's worked, but that's our new target. So now kids are still welcome to come along, but we don't have something separate for them right now, so they can sit with you. They can be part of the service that we're having, that gathering time together. They're welcome to join you, but for right now, we don't have independent kids ministries running, and our new target is October 4th. You might be asking why. Well, if we knew this was our target, we're moving forward towards it. Why? Well, there's a variety of reasons. And the first one is staffing, figuring out who exactly is going to be in there with our kids, both from those who are part of the staff already, those who might need to join the staff, but for those who have clearances, and also, quite frankly, for those who are ready to come back. Not everyone's ready to come back. Not everyone's ready or willing to come back. They might have some medical things going on or other concerns. And so we're really juggling, making sure we have all the staffing we need. But it's also coming down to the programming, making sure that what we're providing in this kind of middle of the COVID and post-COVID stuff is what it needs to be. So we're figuring that out both with curriculum and getting curriculum to the staff once we've got all the staff figured out, making sure that what we're doing is the best that we can do for our kids and our students. Then we said it's also the idea of equipment. We've had some equipment break. We're bringing in new equipment. We're just getting stuff ready, and we didn't have all of that. I know one thing, we're working on getting a new cabinet in there. A cabinet broke as we were working on refreshing the room and doing some of the facility stuff. So we have to get a new cabinet in there. And those are some of those things that factored into this decision. And lastly, just the facilities in general. One of the things, I'm not sure if you heard, some of you did, but we actually found some mold downstairs because the facility hadn't been used down there. Air wasn't moving around. So we're in the process of cleaning that up and making sure that it doesn't come back and figuring that all out. So we wanted our facilities, we wanted our equipment, we wanted our programming, we wanted our staffing to be the best that it could be. Because one of the things that we do value at Grace Church is pursuing excellence. We serve an excellent God, and what we do should reflect our understanding of his excellence back to him as part of our worship, but also to those who see us, who watch what we do, where they can look at what we do and say, man, that God that they talk about must be something special because of look at the care that they take and what they do. So for all those reasons, what we said was it's time for us to kind of just step back a couple weeks and retarget October 4th. We'll keep you in the loop. We'll let you know what we're thinking. But all of this goes back to the fact that we need to have margin. We didn't want to push it through as close to the limits as we possibly could because we knew that we wouldn't be able to make room for what mattered most if we were just stretched right to the limits. So thanks for joining in. Thanks for listening. If you've got questions about our new series, questions about what's going on with kids, feel free to drop a comment below. You can send us a direct message. You can email us. We'd love to connect with you and continue the discussion. But thanks for joining me again, and we're going to see you again real soon.